way we think about things we want to do and the things we want to achieve is sometimes misconstrued in a way. I think that we need to, stop trying and start doing. And what I mean by that is, I feel like the dichotomy we create between our passions and our efforts to get towards them make them more distant. They make a lot of the stuff we see and do seem almost unattainable or almost out of reach for the present moment. And it wasn't until like I started realizing that, it's once you stop separating yourself from your goals, stop separating yourself from your successes, and start to be that now, or start to embody that in a way, like that's when you start to see the fruits of your labor. It's about realizing that, what you do and what you want to do is going to tend towards your purpose. And in doing that, you are somewhat becoming that purpose. Like people say, oh, I'm an aspiring artist, aspiring musician, aspiring rapper. If you're already putting that stuff out there, you're already doing it, you are that. And I'm not saying that just jack the label, just put the label on yourself. But in terms of the way you think about it, why put that separation in your head? Why treat yourself as if you're not there in the hopes of getting there? If you constantly feel like you're not there, you're probably never going to get there. I don't think there's a point or a feeling where you do something and you're like, oh, I'm there now. Like even with the channel in general, I feel like it wasn't a point where like, oh, I'm there. It was like, oh, like how I feel about it is finally starting to be reflected. I think that's probably the best way I can put it. And if I was to relate this to like developing yourself and becoming who you are, the way we, try to get better or, attempt to work on ourselves, in making it an attempt in doing that, it's good at times because I feel like it gives us a safety net. Like I was trying to do that, or I just tried, or I barely tried at that. And it gives us a safety net. I feel like our egos get kind of caught up in the mix and make us feel like we have to have that safety net. Like if I actually do something, like I actually put my 100% effort and embody that and try that wholeheartedly, and I fail, then, that's an L. But I feel like that's when we learn the most. You try something 100%, you give it your all, you start doing instead of trying, and you fail, then you just know that wasn't for you. Or it wasn't the time. Well, all in all, you learn that, there's other stuff. You learn that maybe this path wasn't for you. Maybe there's something else you could be doing. And I feel like there's appreciation, there's love in that. And realizing that you can do more. Realizing that there's more to you. And, I feel like there's a lot of us out here who try. And we try, and we feel like we're trying. And we feel like we're putting effort in, and we feel like we're doing something. But we never feel like we're getting to the point where we want. And part of that, I feel like in self-mastery, anything like that, because I don't feel like I mastered myself at all. But I feel like I'm tending towards it. It's about being appreciative of where you are, rather than appreciative of where you're trying to go. Appreciation of where you are, it kind of helps. Like I'm doing me right now. Like I'm the best I can be right now. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm the best I will ever be. Just in this moment, I'm where I want to be, how I'm situated, how I feel about myself is where I want to be or where I need to be for the moment. But that doesn't disregard where I want to go with it. And saying that growth takes time, I feel like time is relative. Time is really relative. Of course, there's stuff that, takes time to acquire. We live in a society that kind of functions off time. So that only makes sense. But with rewards of the self and becoming you, I feel like the time constraints we put on it kind of limit us more than they give us freedom. It's, I don't know. I feel like it's sometimes easy to put those kind of limiters on ourselves because they give us, like I said, they keep giving us safety nets. Not to say like it's not important to have safety nets. Of course, it's important to have safety, especially if you don't have the security to venture out into that kind of thing. But I feel like that's something that's needed. I feel like our ego is the whole problem with our security. How we relate everything to ourselves, how we make everything a part of ourselves when it doesn't necessarily belong. You know, if it's not in your hands, it shouldn't be in your mind. But a lot of times we put situations that aren't necessarily in our hands, aren't necessarily in our control, and attribute it to our character and who we are as people, rather than allow things to just be as they are. And that's not the point at all. In saying stop trying, start doing, I mean, just put yourself out there, man. There's, like, I saw someone say life is long in my last video. You know, life is long to an extent, but we don't know how long we have. And I don't think there's a lot of time that we should just be spending worried and anxious and not tending towards stuff we actually want. You know, why would you settle for a life that you don't want? In a sense, I'm not saying quit your job, abandon your kids or something like that. I don't want people doing horrendous stuff. I saw a couple of people found that funny in the last video, but I'm being so serious. But in general, like, it's your life to live. You know, if you have responsibilities, of course, take care of them. But this is your life to live as well. You know, it's for you. Your life is for you. If you have a goal, you have something you want, go get it. You know, it's try to get it. Do it. Go do it. You know, don't necessarily try. And when I say don't try, I don't mean like just get that of what trying is out your mentality. I mean get that word and that sort of fixation on trying out your mentality. You know, stop trying in the sense that you know, the way you think about what you do. Like, oh, I'm trying to do this. No, I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing. I'm trying to start a business. No, I'm starting a business. Like, getting that out your vocabulary, getting that out your mental space. So when you do it, when you're trying to do something, it just becomes that instead of that. Like with my channel, always reference winter break, because that's when I felt like I started trying to like really getting towards myself, because I stopped trying to be better for myself. I stopped trying to like actively get better. I just started embodying how I would feel if I was better, embodying how I wanted to be. Like, I was like, oh, you know, what would I do on a daily basis if I was the person if I was like my higher self, the person I wanted to be, version of myself I wanted to be. And I just started doing it. I made a schedule for myself. I made a routine. I kind of fell off the routine a little bit, but I'm getting back on it. But it's about putting yourself in that situation now, putting yourself in that mentality to grow into who you want to be by being that person now. You know, following the blueprint. You know, when you're like building something, you already have an image of what you're building in your head. You know, and I don't think it's the act of building it that really gets it there. It's the realization of what you're trying to build. Like, you're just filling in the pieces of what you want to accomplish, and we have to do that with ourselves. Realize the places you want to get. Realize the person you wish to become, and embody it. Truly embody it. And that's something I've been really thinking about, I guess, recently. But even so, like, when I first started doing anything having to do with philosophy, like, I wanted to be able to embody my philosophy. Like, let it be seen through my actions, through the way I interact with people, through the way I am. Just embody me, embody the way I think wholeheartedly, to the point where, you know, everything else becomes a reflection of it. Not to say that I'm controlling the world or something like that, something crazy like that, but to say that I'm controlling my perspective. And in controlling my perspective, I'm controlling my mind, the way I think, my feelings. And controlling my feelings, I'm controlling my reality, pretty much. Controlling how I view things. And, you know, a lot of this stuff is easier said than done. Of course, I still have my moments. I'm only human. Of course, I still have my moments. I'm only human. But in terms of what I wish to achieve, in terms of the way I think about myself and the way I work myself, I think that a lot of it has to do with no longer separating myself from where I want to go, and just bringing that to now. You know, feeling how I would feel if I had this, or realizing thinking about what I would do if I had a certain amount of money or something like that. I don't know. However you guys want to phrase it for your own benefit, but it's really about getting rid of dichotomies. You know, a lot of dichotomies are false dichotomies. I heard this yesterday. Someone I was having a conversation yesterday. A lot of dichotomies are really just false dichotomies. You know, the separation we create is purely mental. You and your goal, pretty much mental. You just got to go out there and get it. You know, everything is just waiting out there. Nothing, you know, it's about your magnetism and how you pull things to you. How much you want it, but also how much you really think you can achieve it. And it's about, even if you have to trick yourself, knowing that you can achieve it. Being self-aware enough to know when your work really deserves that kind of recognition, or when you deserve that kind of recognition. You know, you got to put the work in. You have to make sure you're giving to the idea that you want to achieve, but being there for yourself the whole way through. And I guess that's mainly what I wanted to talk about today. Just being there for yourself, but in the sense that, like, the you that's being there for you is the you want to become. But yeah, if you made it this far in the video, thank you. I know I haven't streamed in a while, and I feel bad. I just been so busy. Like, my nights are usually like super occupied with either events or practices or stuff like that. But trying to get back. I just sent out the Discord link in the post. I also have a friend who just dropped a video on his channel. He made a new channel, so go check him out. I made a post about that too. So yeah, show him some love. It's all about spreading positivity community and helping each other out. So thank you all, and have a blessed day. Be intentional. Make sure you know what you're giving your energy into, and make sure you know where you want to go, or at least know that you can get there.